Hello and welcome to ThePrint. Today I have with me Dr. Olli Ruohomäki, who is a senior fellow at the Finnish Institute for International Affairs. He has just attended a recent session at the Raisina Dialogue where External Affairs Minister Shankar was speaking. The theme of the session was Tapestry of Truth, and a main issue that came up was whether trust in multilateralism is being eroded. And a minister from the Netherlands was also put on the spot asking, what does the West have to do for the rest of the world to trust it more? What was your take on that?
I thought it was an absolutely brilliant session, and basically, because we are experiencing this contestation of views and narratives also, and basically, I think the whole Bretton Woods system that was set up after the Second World War is in shambles today, and there's a lot of power contestation, and I think basically the idea was when the minister was interviewed whether the universal values still apply versus whether there's sort of a narratives, multipolarity, and this contestation. So I thought that was a very interesting conversation, and it's also very important for us, also from Europe, to listen to the voices of the global South, and particularly within places like India, which is a major emerging power, regional power, part of the G20, BRICS, and all of that. So I thought that was a very interesting conversation.
We happen to be speaking on 22nd February, which marks 2 years since the Ukraine war broke out. India has been able to straddle the line between the US and Russia amid this conflict. But if we can speak specifically about Finland, which is a new entrant in NATO, can you tell our Indian viewers a little bit about the sentiments in Finland and how that overnight switch happened?
Yeah, basically, prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, precisely 2 years ago, the majority of Finns basically were sort of against the idea of joining NATO. I mean, we're not neutral, we are part of the European Union, but we have been militarily non-aligned thus far. However, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, it triggered sort of memories of the past because, for instance, to make it very personal, both of my grandfathers were killed during the Second World War defending Finland against Soviet aggression at the time. So just this particular, very personal view here sort of triggers a lot of memories from across Finnish society. And then the thinking was, wait a minute, since we were part of the Russian Empire from 1809 to 1917, we were thinking that, wait a minute, and of course the experience of the Second World War also, Finland was devastated. Are we going to be next online? So overnight, basically, the public sentiment, the public mood changed, and the politicians, of course, had to follow suit. So hence Finland applied for NATO membership. I mean, we had been so-called NATO compatible all along in any case.
You're referring to the 2% defense spending.
Exactly, and then we have been participating in NATO, partnership exercises and all of that. So it was a matter of, putting the signature on the dotted line, sort of, to use a metaphor. So here we are now, and the sort of the public mood in Europe, and particularly those states that share the border with Russia or Belarus in the sort of the Eastern European flank, are quite concerned how things are developing, particularly in the Ukraine, and the ramifications of the absolutely devastating war in Europe, what it will mean in the coming years for all of us. Not only Europe, but it has wide repercussions all over the world.
And just for our viewers, one of the conditions for NATO member countries is to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense. Dr. Ruohomäki has told me that Finland spends between 2 to 3%, which is, I think there are only 11 out of 31 NATO member countries who have met that condition thus far. And that should explain why he used the metaphor. They just had to sign on the dotted line.
Just as a sort of a side note, Finland actually is one of, I think, the one and only country that has never scrapped its army. So we have a conscript army. So every single male in Finland has gone through service throughout the years. Whereas all the other NATO members have like professional military. Of course, we have the professional military, the officer corps, but basically all males go through the service in any case.
And like Finland, Sweden has also been militarily non-aligned, but as we saw similarly, Sweden is also in the process of joining NATO. There's a bit of pushback from countries like Turkey, and we'll see whether that materializes this year. And I guess my last question to you, Dr. Ruohomäki, is India is the only other country with which the EU has a tech council. It's only the US and India which have a tech council promoting, innovation, research, and development in this field. What do you see about the tech potential and especially when it comes to the digitization potential of India going forward?
Well, just sort of a note on advertising Finland on this particular field. I mean, Finland is a very highly digitalized society, and in fact, I know for a fact that there's quite a few Indian postgrads who are working and studying in Finnish universities. Aalto University is one of the top notch universities in this particular field. India, well, wow, what 1.2 billion people here, so. You're making huge progress, clearly, a digital leap. It's very impressive, and it's like a powerhouse, a hub for innovation. So you have a good future ahead of you in that respect.
Right. We have many Finlands in terms of the population.
I know.
Yeah.
We're Finnish population, we're 5.5 million, so it's like part of just Delhi. Like
yes.
Not even Delhi, but just part of it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruohomäki, for taking the time out to speak to us and our Indian viewers. We'll be monitoring the Raisina Dialogue very closely going forward. Do stay tuned to The Print for more updates.